I was dating a guy. We were dating, kind of got serious, and then I found out that he was like in a relationship with my pastor.
Okay, hold on. I gotta ask some questions. Your pastor's a woman?
No, with the male pastor.
Do you confront him?
I actually...
Another thing that you've been vocal about is being virgin in your 30s.
But I'm trying to figure out how you found that out, because I'm not very vocal about that.
Hey man, we do some digging. We do some digging over here on the deep end.
I think a lot of us abstain because we like, okay, if I hold it down, God's gonna give me a man. Or he might not.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And there's a sad reality that Jesus can return and I never get none. And it's sad. It's sad. It is a sad reality.
You are dumb.
We didn't even talk about denouncing. I thought we were gonna go down that
Oh,
road.
I didn't even think about that. That's a whole nother...
Y'all want to?
I'm with it. But if something is an environment that's conducive for sin, we gotta ask what the root of it is.
Okay, so I hear your vantage point. I'm hard-headed in that. So this is what I would just make my statement on this.
This is The Deep End with Lecrae.
What's going on, everybody out there in the world? Listen, we're not going to belabor the point. You know what I mean? We keep having amazing people here, and we gonna keep that ball rolling. Today we have a very interesting story. A young woman whose journey is, I'm learning more every day as I've sat and listened to her. She's a brilliant communicator. She's got a powerful story. She knows her word, and she's very spirit-led in terms of what it is that she feels like the Lord has called her to do. And listen, some people find her challenging, and some people say this is the challenge that they need, but none other than the Brenda Palmer. You know what I mean?
What's happening?
What's up? I said some people find you challenging.
I say, what an intro.
Because I mean, some people are like, ooh, you don't hold back in some senses. You're very like straightforward. And I want to, before we get into like all of what makes you you, well, let's historically, like, you grew up a PK. And I think that's interesting because, you know, sometimes you see PKs turn out a little sideways.
For sure.
But from what I understood, when you grew up as a PK, you felt like you didn't want to go into ministry.
For sure.
So what happened there? What was...
I think it had less to do with my experience of like my parents being pastors and more about the things they had to experience from people. So my parents are first generation pastors. My parents got saved after I was born. So
Okay.
I think there's a different dynamic versus other PKs. Like I feel like I had a lot of autonomy. Like it wasn't super strict. I was able to still like live a normal life.
Okay.
But I just think I've been exposed to ministry since I was a kid and I just didn't want any parts of it. I think like...
This is in Chicago?
Yep. I grew
Okay.
up in Chicago.
So what's happening? What are you seeing that's making you say, I don't know about this?
Yeah, I think ministry is very much life dedicated to it. My parents also still worked full-time jobs. My dad ran a small church, like a storefront church, and it consumed our lives. Like, so by the time I got to 18, I was like, I'm over this. Like, I worked that finish line, and I started lying. Like, I got to work this week. I can't go to church. Because I just was tired. I was the oldest kid in the church. I ran the audio.
Ooh.
I also ran, like, the kids ministry. My parents had a community center. So it just, like, my entire life was just engulfed in ministry. And I just was like, I think I've served my time. And I think I'm like good with it. And I think growing up when your parents are pastors, it's always people like, you're going to be a pastor. You're going to be, and I'm like, I'm not. I promise you I won't. I would have been a zookeeper. Like anything but that. Like I was determined to not even explore it. I think it was just like, this is like a decision they made. So it could be theirs. And for as long as it had to be mine, it was mine. But now that I can make my own decisions, I don't actually want to do that.
So but were you like, because, you know, there's a lot of things that your story that's unique. You know, like we'll get there. You know what I'm saying? But like, were you weren't typically rebellious, or were you like, I'm gonna kind of follow, I'm not gonna follow? Like, how was that dynamic?
Yeah, I don't think. Well, I wouldn't say I was rebellious. I would say I knew how to be a kid. Like I knew how to be at church, and I knew how to do whatever I was gonna do. I didn't get caught.
Okay.
Like some of the things I did, my parents find out in my sermons. They like, oh, you were doing. Oh, okay. Because it's like I was a good kid for the most part. It's just like I did what I wanted to do once I became an adult. So like when I went to college, I just was kind of like, oh, okay, I'm gonna be outside, and like do what I want to do kind of thing. But I wasn't ever like rebellious. I didn't really get in trouble. I'm also the youngest of 10. So like, okay, so I have my parents have a blended family. I'm the only one they have together. But apart from me, both of my parents are married twice before they married each other. Well, my mom was married once. My dad was married twice before he married my mom. Okay. So I'm the youngest of 10. And my mom had me with her tubes tied. So I was like not a planned baby. Like they wasn't even trying to be with each other. They was like, you know what I'm saying, tipping and dipping. And then surprise, her tubes were tied and I still came. But then it was like, oh, okay. So by the time I was 4, they got married and then they got saved. So there's like this, there's like that dynamic. But yeah, so they were tired by the time it came to me. So
let me tell you something. If like my wife and I both have all of the things done to have no more kids, if we end up having a Brenda Palmer, that like if somebody get pregnant,
I'm just saying, my mom was 38.
That baby better be Moses, Deborah, something.
The Lord said he got the final say.
Yeah. Okay, so that makes sense. So what happens to where you start like, you know what, maybe I do need to go toward ministry, or what's the transition?
Yeah, no, that never happened. I think I always say I just ended up here. These are not my choices.
Okay.
I still say, what I currently do now is my cross. This is not what I would choose to do. It's what I'm called to do. And so I think like the shift happened. I think I've always known I've had a call on my life because I've always had a very unique relationship with the Lord. Like I've always had a foundation of faith. Like I know that God is real. I used to have really bad asthma as a kid. When I was 7, I prayed. I used to have to do like the machine at night before I went to bed. And originally they told me like I would never be able to play sports or none of that. I remember praying and asking the Lord like, please, like I don't want to do this. And I got healed at the age of 7. I never had to do that machine again. So I've always had a knowledge that God was real. Yeah. And I think my senior year in high school, for the very first time, I felt like God let me down. So I played basketball. I was intending to play basketball in college. In my first game, my senior year, I sprained my ACL.
Your first game?
First game of my senior year. So I sprained my ACL. So that meant like, that's it. Yeah. Like for basketball. And I didn't really know how to separate like God, like not answering a prayer. Okay. And so I think because for so much of my life, my relationship was like I pray and God does the thing I pray about. Yeah. So I think for the first time I experienced like a breakdown in my faith of like, well, I don't even think this is like real. And I think that began the process of like wanting to choose a life outside of what I had known my entire life. Okay. And then I go off to college. I do like all the turning up. I really was. I love to party. Like I drank, I smoke a lot of weed over my life. Like I did all the things. And then yeah, I think I have this moment. I'm like 28. I go to school at Syracuse to study film and TV. Like that was the goal, to work in entertainment. And then I'm moving to LA in 2014 and then stuff starts to fall apart. Like where I was gonna stay, they start asking like, well, how long she gonna stay here? And I'm like, I'm not built to live in my car. Like I'm just not built for that. So I decided to stay in Chicago. I took like little odd jobs, still working in entertainment. And then I started working at a church. And then I was like the social media person. I was volunteering. Then I became a social media person. Then I became media. Then I became like a part of the operations. Then I became full-time staff. And then that became my life. I started running young adults. So then I think ministry started being presented to me. Okay. But in a way that felt like, oh, this is cool. Like I'm still doing what I love, but also serving the Lord. Yeah. And then that I thought was going to be it. 2016, I go visit LA and I feel like a sensing that God's like, you need to move. But now this is 2 years removed from connections, like coming out of school is like, nah, I don't think so. So I didn't move. And I heard like the instruction to move April 2017. I didn't move out of loyalty to the place I was at. Like, what are they going to do if I leave? And then 2018, April 2018, I was dating a guy who I had been friends with for a pretty long time. We were dating, kind of got serious, and then I found out that he was like in a relationship with my pastor.
Okay, hold on. Because, all right, y'all, listen. I've been a dad for a while now, and there's a few things that I struggled with when I first became a dad. And one of them that I didn't know I was going to struggle with was life insurance. It was a grown-up thing, but now I had to think about these kids and what would happen if I was not around, right? So I decided to figure out how to get myself covered, what expenses that I needed to have covered, and what expenses were gonna be outrageous for me. And so I went down this journey. And listen, y'all, I've been running this household for a while now with my wife, and having kids, it is a tough thing, man. Having a family plan in place that you can put together in the midst of all that chaos is a tough thing to do. But now I was trying to make sure I had a plan for protecting my family's financial future. What if something happened to me and I wasn't able to be around? So who's gonna help me with this? Well, let me tell you who's gonna help. Fabric. Fabric can definitely help. Life insurance is one of those things that nobody wants to think about, but it's actually extremely important, right? Having a term life insurance policy means that if something unexpected happens and you're not there to provide for your family, they're still gonna have some financial protection. So Fabric by Gerber Life makes it easy, because time is a funny thing, man. It's so limited, and we keep putting things off until later. Why do we do that? If you've been putting off life insurance, you need to check out Fabric, because they make it fast and easy to just check it off your list literally right now. Like literally right now. Fabric by Gerber Life is term life insurance you can get done today. It's made for busy parents just like you, just like me. It's all online. It's on your schedule. It's right from your couch, and you're covered in under 10 minutes. No health exam required. So if you got kids, and especially young and healthy parents like yourselves, it's time to lock in the low rates. If you got life insurance through your employer, it may not follow you, right? It may not be enough protection. And what Fabric has are flexible, high quality policies that fit your family and your budget, like $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day. Fabric's partnered with Gerber Life. It's trusted by millions of families just like yours for over 50 years. No risk, 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can cancel at any time, right? They got over 1,900 5-star reviews on Trustpilot with a rating of excellent. Fabric also has free digital wills, tools to invest in your kids' future, so much more. Like, just trust me, y'all. It's a great opportunity. So please, just do it. Join us. Join the thousands of parents who are trusting Fabric to help protect their family. Apply today in some minutes, literally minutes, at meetfabric.com/Lecrae. That's meetfabric.com/Lecrae. MEET fabric.com/Lecrae. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company, not available in certain states. Prices are subject to underwriting and health questions. Your pastor's a woman?
No, with the male pastor.
Okay. You moved to California?
I didn't move to California yet.
You didn't
I was still in
move.
Chicago.
And you're dating a man who is in love with your male pastor.
Okay. Did you hear me say that? Did you hear me say he was in love? Or did you hear me just say they were in a relationship? They were like intimately involved. And when I say intimately, I mean based off like how they engaged, like how they communicated with each other. Like I wouldn't be able to speak to anything
his
beyond
emotions.
that. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. Okay. Hold on. Because it's not beyond the realm of possibility.
No. And it's actually more common than you would believe.
But I guess I'm just like, it's such a lot of jumps just happened.
It did. There were a lot of jumps. There were.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Okay. A lot of jumps happened. Let me just, I got to ask some questions. How, you're on the right track. Mm-hmm. You're like, hey, I'm serving the Lord.
Mm-hmm. To a place the Lord sent me.
Right. And then you decide to get in, you're done with the smoking, the drinking, the turning up. Mm-hmm. You're going to settle down and do a relationship the God's way. Mm-hmm. That was the thought process.
For sure.
Okay. And then do you find this out like vicariously? Like, oh, the guy I'm dating is also in an intimate relationship with my pastor.
Yeah, I find out. Like, nobody tells me. I would say the Lord did. Like, because I was on a fast. Like, I literally had just started a fast that week. Like, I was leading young adults, so we all were on a fast. And I, like, just so happened to, like, see a message. And in my brain, which I think as women we do this, it's like we see something we know immediately. But something, like, doesn't always connect. It's like, nah, that can't really be it. And so, like, in the course of, like, seeing the message, it was off-putting, but not enough to make a decision, if that makes sense. Okay. And so I was like, okay, I kind of want to, like, explore this. And I did. And for maybe 2 to 3 weeks, watched them communicate back and forth that I would say confirmed what was being revealed to me, I guess.
And you like, they wasn't just like, yo, my dog, like, yo, I appreciate you so much. Like, what's giving you the sense that it's more than just like,
because they are communicating intimately.
Okay. What do you confront him?
Mm-mm. I actually had no intentions on confronting anybody. I've never experienced anything like that in my life. Like, because we're not just like talking about strangers. It's really layered. So it's not just my pastor. They're like my spiritual parents. I call them moms and pops. I have keys to their house. I watch their kids. I have a room in their house. I travel with them. I've been attending this church for, at this point, maybe roughly 8 years since I was a sophomore in college. So there's a very much layered, deep relationship. My parents and my pastor's parents were really close friends. We did holidays together, Thanksgiving, Christmas, like it was layered. So I'd never been in any situation like that. I don't think there's a rule book or a playbook on here's the next move. Like, also, the church was a non-denominational church, so even like hierarchy of like who do you go to, right? Because the pastor's the guy, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I really didn't know what to do in that sense. So I kind of just would see things because I was able to like see their conversations. I'd rather not state how I was able to do that, but I was able to see the conversations.
He was a spy.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you were a whole spy.
You know what I'm saying? I need to know what I need to know. And so I think. Yeah, so the course of this maybe happened April 4th. So for the course of a month, because it didn't all come to a head until the weekend of Mother's Day. So is that like May 10th? And that was because I had reached a point where like I was deteriorating, like I was internalizing everything because this isn't just my situation. This affects everybody I know, my entire community, the people I lead. This is also their pastor. Oof. This is like my parents are also on the board. They also are pastors at this church. So it's not just like, oh, this is my situation. Like I was dating this dude and I found out this affects my entire life. So I'm also carrying the weight of, if this comes out, it doesn't just affect me. It affects an entire body of believers. Oh, man. And so I think carrying that weight just felt like, okay, well, I just got to keep this to myself. But then I was losing weight. I probably weighed like 102 pounds. I wasn't really eating. I was breaking out. So then I got to the point where I would go to work and I would have migraines. So I couldn't do anything. And so I was like, okay, I think I have to quit. Like I've come to the conclusion, like I got to quit. I ended up breaking up with him, but still not really confronting it. Just like, man, the Lord's really like doing something in my life and I want to focus on that. Because that is really what was happening. Mm-hmm. Like naturally I was dying, but there was something that was like being shaped in me spiritually where like I was locked in with the Lord. Yeah. And so it was like this weird tension of like growing spiritually and developing a deeper intimacy with the Lord, but also fading away in the natural.
How is he responding to you saying, I need to?
Not really well, because it was like the moment I like found out, I don't have an in-between. I'm either very hot or very cold. So It was like a switch went off. But I didn't break up with him right away, but it was like I didn't know how to like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't
like, hey, how you doing? Fine.
Right. I was completely like checked out. I would ask like certain questions to kind of like get him to like open up, because I also could witness an internal battle with him. Also, it was like I could tell there's like, it's also like in this situation, right, there's a power dynamic because he's our pastor, right? And then also the guy I'm dating doesn't have a lot of family. So he's also getting a family dynamic in this. So it was like I could see, I was aware of all these things or whatever. And so when I did decide to break up with him, and first of all, just never break up with nobody at a restaurant, because I was hungry. And I was like, I was trying to like, you know, space it out. You know, how's life? You know, what's new? And he's like, no, what's going on? I'm like, you don't want to eat first? You don't want to wait for the food?
I'm 102 pounds. Like, I need some food.
I'm hungry today. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was like Red Lobster. And we couldn't, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't eat at Red Lobster. Biscuits. I was ready. I was like, well, I guess we'll take the food to go. You know?
Man.
And so he didn't really understand. He was just like, it kind of feels out of the blue. It kind of feels like you just switched up kind of thing, which is true. And then that happened, and then maybe like a week later. So now they're trying to figure out like, well, why did y'all break up? You know, like what happened? And
the pastors?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because again, very close-knit relationship, right? So they were involved, but I started to pull back because it's like, we're too involved. Like, it's like, I don't feel like I can make a decision without y'all like questioning it.
Yeah.
And so then they were kind of like, we want to know, what's going on. And I remember while I was like going through this process, I'm very much outgoing, super big personality. And I would just come home. My mom's like, what is going on? And I'm like, nah, I'm not going to be the one to tell you. And I was like, I can't tell you. Yeah. And I'm like, if you want to know, you need to ask the Lord with no context. And I remember coming home from work one day and she looked like I felt. And I was like, are you okay? And she's like, nah. She's like, Holy Spirit revealed to me that pastor is having an affair and it's not with a woman. And I was like, I'm amazed, but also scared that like the Lord would reveal it verbatim. And when I say no context, I didn't give her any context. Yeah. So like she's unaware.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, but for the first time, I was grateful because I'm like, I can finally emote. Like I can finally express. And then I tell her who it is and then like how I found out or whatever. And so my mom knew and obviously like told my dad, which I'm like, you should have done that. Because it's my daddy and I'm the baby. My daddy don't play. And so just kind of like navigating that. So like the more that people find out, it's like I also feel like I had to shepherd them through my crisis. Mm-hmm. So I'm going like, hey, like let's not all act in anger. Like let's kind of process this. And then I kind of reached a point where they're calling me into the office like, why'd you break up with a guy? And I'm like, I think that's like our business. Like I don't really feel comfortable sharing. They call me into the office again because what I didn't know is that my dad was texting the guy like, hey, like, why would you be, like if you got something on your chest, like you could just be honest with Brenda. And I'm like, these are things like that are happening out of my control. Oof. So they call me in the office.
This is a movie.
It is. It should be a movie.
Anyway.
But I feel like they call me into the office. They want to talk again. And I state like, I'm fine with talking, but I don't feel comfortable talking without my parents. Mm. And they're like, that's weird. As long as we've known you, you've never had And I'm like, that's fine, but if you want to talk to me, like my parents need to be here. Mm. And then they're like, are they even available? I call my mom. She's like, we just sat down for breakfast. We'll be there in 15 minutes. Immediately. So my parents come and I just kind of stayed very like blatantly, like I came across some messages that imply that this is what's happening. And I say the message verbatim, like the original message I saw. Mm-hmm. I say it verbatim. Now, nobody else in the room knows what I'm talking about, but the person who sent the message knows what I'm talking about. Mm. So I say verbatim, and then I just say, like, what am I supposed to do with that? And then I kind of remember, like, just saying, like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't work here anymore. Like, and I say, like, I'm dying. Literally. And my dad goes, Brenda, don't say like my dad. He like, don't speak that. I'm like, no, it's the reality of what's happening. Like I'm wasting away. And I just remember like my pastor's wife is there. We were very close. She's not looking at me. She's sitting facing him. She doesn't really say anything in the moment until my parents, they end up having a conversation. My mom says verbatim what the Lord revealed to her. And I was like, I can't believe you said that. And she's like, no, Holy Spirit said I needed to say it. And then that kind of happens. They give me 30. I say I want to leave. I want to quit. They're all having a conversation. I'm kind of blacked out. I'm taking the keys off my key ring because at this point I'm done. And I say I want to leave. They give me 30 days off with pay. Mm-hmm. Like, take some time, think about it.
Yeah, because now this has become a scandal in their mind too. I imagine like, oh,
I would
shoot.
Imagine. Yeah. And the level of influence I had in that church, it could have been. You know what I'm saying? Like I ran all the things. I could have sent out whatever I wanted to send out. That wasn't my heart at all. I take off for 30 days. I go to Kansas City to IHOP. I sit there. I finally like release and process. I journal. Mm-hmm. A week after that, I go to LA. And I go to one church and Pastor Teray preaches a sermon called When Everything Changed. And he's talking about the tension that the disciples feel that Jesus is now left, but also waiting on the Holy Spirit to appear. Mm-hmm. And he just kept saying over and over, like, it had to happen. It had to happen. And I really feel like that message, it saved my life because in this sense, my entire world is crumbling. Yeah. And I don't really know why. It feels like.
And it's not just because the relationship with this man was like so special, like y'all was about to get married, but it's because the church was your world.
Yeah.
This is your family.
It's my family, it's my community, it's my job. It's everything, you know?
Yeah.
And then I think that's why I say it's layered, because it's that, but it's also like, as a woman, how do we navigate now, like a guy not only not choosing me, right? And then now like feeling like the mental process, right? To like, okay, so he chose him over me, like just all of those things.
What does that mean about me? What does that say about me?
And I think those are things I hadn't even, you know what I'm saying, like until I went to therapy, and I think still kind of processing levels of trust, you know, and like navigating triggers. And so I did that. They asked me to come back because at the same time, like we had campus pastors who they were leaving the church, and they're like, we need to, you know what I'm saying, save face because all the leaders are leaving.
Oh, so it's making its rounds.
No, it's not making its rounds. There are just things happening naturally.
Got you.
That I think also is like the Lord.
The Lord.
You know what I'm saying? Like, which I would say is in his mercy. Because I think a different response would have yielded a different outcome, you know? And so I think like.
So does it ever fully come out?
No, I don't think until I talked about it on my podcast.
Wow.
And I think even on my podcast, I'm very like, even now, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody knows what I'm talking about unless you know what I'm saying? And I'm intentional about that because I don't want it to feel like a scandal. I'm only sharing what I shared because I met God in that place.
Yeah.
And it also feels really weird to be in ministry after I've experienced that level of like betrayal. But no, it doesn't. It comes out within a small group of like people, but not in a, you know what I'm saying? Not in a way.
Do you know if either of these men have repented or gotten help or listen, the countdown is up, man. It's now or never. All right, you can't still be hunting for your holiday gift. All right, and if you are, let me just help you right now. All right, Aura Frames. I want you to have the ability to walk around looking like you planned it the whole time, that you just had this great plan for your holiday shopping, and Aura Frames is it. You know, because everyone struggles with finding this personal gift for the people that they're close to. If you give somebody an Aura Frame, now it's like you are such a thoughtful individual. It's the perfect gift because what you get is a frame where you can get pictures, right, that you put on this digital frame where they get to see them in real time. They're looking at new pictures as you upload them. Unlimited free photos and video. All you do is you download the Aura app, you connect to the Wi-Fi, you preload the photos before it ships. Then you just keep adding them from anywhere. You can start personalizing this. You can say, hey, just thinking of you today, and I remember this picture, and bow, you know, they got it in a frame, and they're like, oh my goodness, that was so sweet of you. Or they come home every day and they see a new picture or video that just brings up an incredible memory. It looks so thoughtful and caring. So it's straight from your phone. It's all year long. Beautiful gift box. Every frame comes packaged in a premium gift box with no price tag. I mean, come on, man. Can you put a price tag on love? Can you wrap togetherness? No, you cannot, but you can frame it. So listen, for a limited time, you can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com, AURA frames.com, and get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames named #1 by Wirecutter. Use my promo code Lecrae at checkout. That's AURAframes.com, promo code Lecrae. And this deal is exclusive to listeners, and the frames do sell out fast. So just make sure you order yours now so you can get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions do apply.
I would say the guy I was dating, absolutely, like in 2021, 2022, maybe like the end of 2022, he and I had the very first conversation. And I could tell he had been to therapy. I could tell he had like processed. He's married now.
Okay.
Very much like I would say he was a victim in that situation.
Sure.
Especially based off what I witnessed. Like I know most people would read it like, oh, no. He was definitely being manipulated a lot in that situation. And so I would say, yeah. And then I think that I would say yes to the extent of like even my former pastor, like there are times he like apologized to me. I think also though in a situation like that, right, there are some things I have to accept about myself before I can, you know what I'm saying? And so I think like I can't speak to either of their personal journeys, but I would say like ex and I had a very healing conversation. He didn't really like me talking about it on the podcast, but he left the church after that.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I think the Lord
I'm worried about my cousin who's still sitting at that church right now. Like, hey.
Yeah, I think this speaks to a larger thing, right? On like, we have to be led by the Holy Spirit on where we choose to attend. And also trusting the Lord, like when he says go or when he says stay. And like, because I didn't leave right away. I think I was kind of like journeyed that out with the Lord.
Yeah.
And also knowing that like no leader is perfect. They're all going to have shortcomings.
Sure.
It's all how they navigate that and how surrendered they are to following the Lord, I think.
It speaks to a deeper issue though, because like it's so many dynamics in this, right? Like there is a power dynamic, there is the manipulation, there is like, but then there's also like, because some people will hear your story and say, "This is why I don't go to church," right? Like, and for me, that's so traumatic.
Very
you
much.
know, like I could imagine somebody saying, "Nah, I gave these people my life, I gave them everything." And then I felt like it just got crumbled up and thrown away. How did you find healing and resolve?
Yeah, I think a couple things. I think the first thing is like I did not give those people my life. I was at that church serving because I was serving the Lord.
That's good.
And so I think that it starts there. I think I had a deep enough relationship with the Lord to be able to separate and go, I'm not going to blame the Lord for a man's humanity, right? And I think to me, hearing this shows why we need God, because in our own humanity, we're going to fail every time. If I don't like surrender, we all have areas that are like trash that make us unworthy, right? But then there's like with God and honesty and transparency and being authentic and saying, hey, this is a struggle. I think that's the deeper issue. We don't make space for leaders to struggle. So then they struggle in secret and they cover it up or they lie about it. There is no space. Like I even think about this situation and go, was there ever a space for him to be honest and say, hey, I'm struggling with homosexuality? Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that also speaks to a bigger issue. I think the other thing is like, I could also hear people saying like, this is the reason I don't go to church. And I think that we have this like unfair, like perspective, right? Because we read about Fortune 500 companies and CEOs stealing money all the time, and you don't be like, well, I'm not going to work no more. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, and I get it, right? We hold this place to a higher standard, but we're all broken people that God's entrusted with us to steward people's lives and ministries and stuff. And so I think it is that. But I didn't go to a church to serve a man. I didn't work at a church to serve a man. I went to church to serve God. And so because this man is falling short, I don't then get to check out on God because things didn't pan out the way they wanted to. Scripture's full of that. Like I pulled very much on the story of David and Saul because it felt like that. But I always recognize that David always honored Saul, not because Saul was deserving of his honor, but because God placed Saul in a position until God removed him. He still deserves that. And so I think it was that. I think also I had to be honest. Like, no, I wasn't like off God, but I was mad.
Yeah.
I was very much angry and didn't know how to process my anger. In the beginning, I was very much not trusting of people. I was like, you know what I'm saying, spazzing out on close friends because I had so many emotions that were so internalized. I needed to like dig deep into that. So I think that even now there are sometimes things will happen and they will trigger me and I'll go into a shell. And so I think like it is being aware of that and then also like a consistent like, Lord, you got to deal with this so that it doesn't become like the lens I view life through.
Yeah. So something I'm like hearing that part of your journey, like it makes me curious because another thing that you've been like vocal about is being a virgin in your 30s. How much of that is due to, man, I'm following the Lord and now I have trust issues because of this relationship? Like is it a mixture? Is it all of it? Is it?
No. I think it is a daily decision. It is a daily decision. It is a daily like, Lord, you got to keep me kind of thing. I date, but I date with intentionality. Okay. I have been in situations where I almost ain't make it. You know what I'm saying? Where that wasn't almost my testimony. So no, I didn't. I think like I've been open. It took me a while to get there. I think like The first date I went on was during the pandemic, like after that situation, because that happened in 2018. So like it took me a while to even want to be able to, you know what I'm saying? And I've had really bad experiences. I'm like, Lord, I think I've served enough time in the trauma of relationships, you know, like, but very much open to that. But no, that is a decision that is very intentional because I love the Lord.
Yeah.
I think the trust issues a lot for me show up in like platonic relationships, because my friendships can often be really intimate because like I feel like friends are closer than like romantic relationships, I think, at this season of my life. And I oftentimes realize I have triggers. So somebody does something to me, I'm getting really better at it, but I'm like, no, I'm good.
Okay.
Because there's like the trust. I think for me, the break in trust was the betrayal from, I don't know, like I felt more betrayed by my pastor than I did my ex.
Got you. Because
so
he was the person that you had to closer.
I counted on him to do the thing. And I feel like if you gonna do what you're gonna do, I'm not even really mad about that. I'm really mad about the fact that you want to pull me into it. So there's a part of me that felt like I was also being used. There's a part of me that felt like you're so supposed to be my spiritual father. You're not covering me at all. And so I felt like that's where the breakdown in trust came for people I feel like who should show up and they don't.
Yeah.
I think that's where it comes more so than like on the relational side.
That makes sense. But rewinding the tape, in college when you was wilding and drinking and smoking.
You know, again, very, very close. Lots of close times. But the Lord has kept me.
What was that? Was it just like, nah, I gotta hold on?
No, it really would be that. It would be mid-moment. I'm like, I can't not do this. I think I also have like a lot, like, okay, so my mom got pregnant her first time with twins at 16. So there is this fear too that I'm like, I'm like, the Lord is gonna make an example out of me. So there is always that. Like, it wasn't enough fear to be staying out of bad situations, but definitely like in college, lots of moments.
So a lot of dudes walked out of your door mad,
very mad. You know what I'm saying? Like, and also, but you also knew what this was when you came over here. You know what I'm saying? You thought in your mind you could make it be something else. And then, you know what I'm saying? It says resist the devil, okay? And you gotta flee. And so I would be very close, and then be like, all right, no. And I would say even then, it was. I think it's just something that was ingrained in my mind. And in college, it didn't have a lot to do with pleasing the Lord. It was just like, as a young, like a girl, I did the whole purity thing. I did. I'm probably the only one still standing out of that. You know what I'm saying? Out of that group. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going, Lord, now. All right. And it's but I'm trying to figure out how you found that out, because I'm not very vocal about that.
Hey man, do some digging. We do some digging over here on the deep end.
He was like, yeah, you've been. I haven't been very vocal about that. A little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, because I also think like there's like all these things with it, and it's like, no,
you're not like the raising your fist, like standing out here like, yes, girl.
No, I'm not. But I am a person who confronted like when I preach all the time, like, you shouldn't be having sex. And I think I have to, because we often hear that from married people who have sex all the time. And I actually don't want to hear you tell me that I can't have sex, because you get to go, I don't value what you saying. You know what I'm saying? But as a person who's like, nah, girl, I'm out here holding it down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to walk away from some things. I can't watch certain things. Like, I literally remember being on a date with a guy, and I'm talking to him, and the Lord is saying no. And I'm going, nah, God, I'm good. Like, he's like, no. And we went to like an Alex Isley concert. We go to eat, and he immediately, the conversation, he's like, so I'm saying though, you know, he was like, I've been, you know what I'm saying, I've been studying some things I want to try. Like, he was very like, and I was like, I don't know if this is the Lord making you do this, because it's not normal. It's first date. There's no, And but if I like traced back before that date, we had been talking for like 2 months. But what I was feeding myself, it was almost like the spirit of lust actualized in a person. And I met him face to face. And had I not made great decisions, he would have got me.
Yeah.
And on the date, God's like, detrimental to your calling.
Wow. And
I was like, nah, God. I went to the concert where he lived. He didn't drive. He Ubered there. This is your city. Why are you Ubering? He's like, oh, because you want to take me to the house. And I live like an hour away. He was like, oh, you could just come in and lay on the couch. I said, I will not. I will pull over on the side of the road and sleep before I come in your house because I'm not coming out of here the way I'm going in.
Wow.
And so I think it's like, I think I recognize that that's an area that the enemy would try me to dilute my voice and my authority. So I think now being older and more mature, it's like, nah, I create ways to be like, nah, I can't.
And what are some tools, because there's a lot of women and men out there who are trying to navigate that. Like, what are some tools that have been able to be beneficial for you?
Yeah, I think the first tool is being honest that you don't got enough strength, right? Because I think we'd be like, no, I'm good. And you're like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's that. I think it has to be rooted in nothing but pleasing the Lord, like my love for the Lord, right? Because I think a lot of us abstain because we like, okay, if I hold it down, God's gonna give me a man. And I'm like, or he might not.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And there's a sad reality that Jesus can return and I never get none. And it's sad. It's sad. It is a sad reality. And I'm like, Lord, it's really looking like you finna slide through here. Okay?
Wait, Lord.
And I need you to, you know what I'm saying? Now we need to figure something out.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
The things that must run through your brain.
No, they run all the time. Everybody's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? All the rapture stuff. I'm like, y'all need to cool out on that. Because, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to, the Lord is worth it. But then there's the other part that's like, Lord, I've really been out here, on the battlefield, fighting for the Lord. You really just gonna let me go out like that?
You are dumb.
I feel like, and I really have those conversations. I'm like, nah, Lord. And if you about to come back, then that means you got to speed this up. Okay? I'm cool for a 6-month engagement. Okay? 6 months married. Okay? 2 months engaged. We don't gotta play. We're grown. I am 35. We don't gotta, I don't know if this, no. We don't gotta do what's your favorite color. We can find out on the honeymoon.
Oh, shoot. My face hurt.
But I think, for real, being honest that you're not strong enough to, withhold yourself. And then also being mindful of doors. So I think while I haven't had actual, you know what I'm saying, all the way, there have been other things, right? Because we always trying to figure out where the line is so we don't cross it, but how close can we get to the line? And so I've even battled, porn, but not in the normal way, but what I read. Yeah. And I'm a visual learner, so that takes me further than anything would. And I didn't even realize that I was addicted to it. And it was like, okay, man, you really got me talking about stuff I do not be talking about. But I think because usually when we hear porn, I feel like we hear more men talk about it. Like men are like, yeah, because I was, you know what I'm saying?
Watching this, watching
exactly.
that. Yeah.
And I think women, because we're also intellectual, we wouldn't consider the books that got the sex scenes in it. We wouldn't consider that. Yeah. But I had it on my phone and it was everywhere all the time. And I was having dreams. I could close my eyes and I could, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, then there was the shame of it, of I cannot believe I ended up here. Yeah. And then there was the, oh, okay, but I'm sorry. And then back into it. And then I realized, okay, there is an actual addiction here. And we got to deal with this. And true repentance is when I realize that what I'm doing is breaking the Father's heart. And that causes me to turn. Because it's like you got to turn away. Yeah. It's like, yeah, but what makes me turn? Yeah. It's the idea that every time I do this, I'm breaking my Father's heart. And that breaks my heart. And that caused a turn. Yeah. And I realized that as a result of that door, I was struggling with depression again. I was having suicidal ideation. Everything felt heavier than normal because now I'm in sin and I've created a separation. Yeah. And so I think being able to, the doors are important. What you listen to, what you watch, all of that is planting seed that you will eventually live out. And I ain't telling you what I heard. I'm telling you I have lived it. Yeah. Where I've fed myself certain things or certain singers, favorite singers that have music and I'm like,
not today.
This about to send me somewhere else that I don't need to go. And so I think being mindful of that, having community to keep you accountable. I have friends who were having sex and got convicted on their own, reading scripture and call me Brenda. Every time I see sexual immorality, it does something to me. And it's yeah. But I'm not like pointing a finger. I'm like, we're gonna go on a journey together. So I think like being honest, but having somebody you could be honest with, like, hey, I fell into this again. Like, I need help. Like, I need accountability. I think having accountability around, and then also like you got to make a decision. Like, if you don't make a decision, you will always find a way to make a decision in the opposite direction. It's like, well, Jesus is on his way back, so I might as well, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? The Lord will forgive me, right? And then I think I also understand the weight of what it means to become one with somebody. And I don't want to take on someone else's stuff that I'm not going to be with for the rest of my life. And so I realized that, like, I've seen that happen where somebody was this jovial person and they slept with the wrong dude who was battling depression. And now they depressed and can't find themselves because you've become one with whatever they're carrying or one with their 10. You know what I'm saying? And so I think like when you understand the weight of it, that God isn't trying to keep anything from me, that he's trying to protect me, it makes me value it more. That says, Lord, I can't do this on my own, but I do believe like he's able to keep me.
Yeah. Hey, listen, y'all, there's Christians out there who spend years of their life thinking that they are broken or that they failed God because they're struggling with unwanted or distressing thoughts. But listen to me, that is not a spiritual failure. Matter of fact, it could be due to a common but overlooked condition called religious OCD. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about thoughts that interrupt worship. Am I praying right? Will God forgive me if I make a mistake in my prayer? Do I need to start over and do it perfectly this time? Or maybe there's some blasphemous image that pops in your head and it makes you feel like you sinned just for thinking about it. Unwanted thoughts like that can be a sign of religious OCD, which is also known as scrupulosity OCD. It's a form of OCD that can turn your faith into a source of constant guilt or doubt or fear. But because this condition is widely misunderstood, a lot of people don't even know that it can show up this way or that it can center around their faith. But I need you to know that OCD is not just about being neat or organized like all the stereotypes say. OCD latches on to the stuff you care about the most, and it causes this cycle of distressing and intrusive thoughts and behaviors that are done to try to get rid of the anxiety that they create. Like praying until it feels just right, or confessing the same sin over and over, trying to solve or figure out your thoughts. Any relief from these behaviors is going to be short-lived. So that cycle is going to start over again. And now you got a lot of people who are silently struggling with religious OCD, and they're thinking it's some kind of failure or lack of faith. And that's not true. It's a common type of OCD, and it's highly treatable with the right kind of specialized therapy. And that's where NoCD comes in. What NoCD is, it's the world's leading OCD treatment provider. All the therapists are licensed and trained in ERP, or exposure response prevention therapy. It's the most effective treatment for OCD. And listen, NoCD therapists really understand OCD, so they know these thoughts don't mean anything about you. They do live virtual sessions where they help you break free from OCD's grip while honoring your faith, so you can get back to focusing on what matters the most.
You said something, and I think that was pivotal. You said it breaks the Father's heart. And I think a lot of times people don't care about that if they don't have intimacy with the Father. You know what I mean? And I can tell like that's something that's very important for you, is that like dynamic. How like for you personally, just in this like being single, trying to process life, you know, through church hurt or whatnot, trust issues, to like trying to figure out, okay, Lord, where do you want me to land my plane here? Like how intimacy's got to be a big thing for you, because you got to be attentive and hear from the Lord. How are you cultivating that? What does that look like in your life?
I think like, you know, the scripture that says like pray without ceasing.
Yeah.
I feel like it's that. It's like, for me, it's conversational though. Like I try my hardest to include God in everything. Like I think I carry the weight of what I've been entrusted to steward so much. I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah.
So even coming here, I'm like, all right, Lord, like, what do you want me to say? Like, how does it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like that with everything. I don't want to mess it up. And I think because I've seen people start off with hearts similar to mine and it turned into something else because of the word, what's offered to us.
Yeah.
I don't want to mishandle or like, I feel like everything I have is something that God's entrusted me with. And I actually am not smart enough to handle it on my own. So
I feel you on
intimacy looks like every single day, like, okay, God, what do you want me to do with this? Like before I have a conversation, before I'm on a platform. And I feel like the more that happens, the bigger the platform. And I'm like, could you stop doing this? Like, I would rather just nobody know me. Like, that's really how I feel. So I feel like because I've been entrusted with so much, it's like, I cannot do this without God. I feel like that intimacy, though, was birthed in that hard season. That was the only way I was making it every day. So I think it was cultivated there. It was, if I don't talk to the Lord, if I don't sit in his presence, if I don't pray, if I don't read my word, I don't know if I'm going to live throughout this day. So I think when it's cultivated in a space like that, then it gets easier when life is going good. I still hold that same value. Like, I cannot do this without the Lord.
Yeah.
And I don't get it right all the time. Some days I'm so busy and I'm like, or I want to sleep, or I'm snoozing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, I don't want the Lord to hit snooze on me, so I'm going to get up.
That's good. Do you feel, and I mean, some women wrestle with this, some don't, but being a woman, you preach often, you're on in, teaching, there's so many different perspectives on this, right? Like, what's a woman's role? Did you see, I mean, obviously I would assume your mother, you saw her, it fleshed some of this out, but now, even as a single woman getting up there, there's no husband who's like, hey, this is none of that. Do you feel like you're going against the grain? Do you feel like it's a challenge, or is it just?
I think a couple things. I think that it's an internal challenge. I think I really enjoyed being single prior to ministry. Ministry made me aware of how important a covering is. Because I don't think only people who minister can understand what happens when that grace lifts and you switch from anointing to humanity. I cannot articulate it, but it's like you become highly aware of your flesh. And I those moments are really, really hard. And I think that's when I started to go like, Lord, ain't no way. You want me to keep doing this without a husband? I think that in the same breath, there is a reason the Lord called me this way for this season, hopefully. And the reason I say that is because I think so often, I did see my mom walk it out, but I saw my mom walk out ministry because she's married to my dad. And for the most part, even when God was calling me, I didn't have context for what ministry looks like when it wasn't connected to marriage.
Okay.
And I feel like part of my assignment is to walk ministry out with the Lord. Yeah. Like I always say, like, even I think, you know what I'm saying, real quick, for church culture, we could do a better job at serving people who are not married. Most of our conversations are geared towards this season of my life is me being prepared for something else. And then there's the reality of what if the something else doesn't come? So who's teaching me how to live in the now? Yeah. And fulfill it. And so I feel like I'm gonna be single and proud. Like I've renamed it. We are not single, we are undivided. We get the privilege of living a life undividedly devoted to the Lord. That's good. So when I'm on panels and I'm the only single person there and they want to ask me the single question about ministry and it's like the tone shifts and they're like, well, Brenda, how are you navigating ministry? So I'm like, well, first of all, I'm the wealthiest person up here. Yeah. I got all my time. When I want to make a decision to follow the Lord, I don't got to check with nobody. I don't have to consider like, well, where are my kids going to go? How are they going to? No, I get to like undividedly serve the Lord. My passions are not divided. And I think that like to a believer, that is a benefit. It is a benefit of like, like at any moment I could be like you. Unfortunately, Lecrae, you can't, you know what I'm saying, unless you do what you're supposed to do. But you could never be like me. Yeah. So I hold a key, and I think we have to be more vocal about that because sometimes being single is made to feel like it's like a missing link to your life. And so I would go places and minister, and they'd be like, man, it's so great. You got a degree, so many accomplishments. Are you dating? So it's almost like this area that I have yet to step into has now like defines the rest of my life. Nothing else matters. Yeah. And so I think like I feel like there's an intentionality for me to be as front facing as I am and to be single and to be like, no, you don't have to wait for marriage to follow the Lord and what he's called you to do. Yeah, no, I love that. I hate that marriage is varsity and singleness is JV in the church. That's weird to me because like
you got Jesus, you got Paul, you got, I mean, you ain't going on all the missionary trips if you got, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, yeah. Like literally I'm coming off a tour and I feel divided.
Yeah. Because you like.
Exactly. Whereas you like.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm just tired.
I'm just tired.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, and it's true. Like, I think even, because I'm like, Lord, I want to date. Like, I ain't saying you got to be my, like, I want to date. But then I think about that is an added pressure to me already trying to navigate this, right?
Yeah.
I'm never, even if I live in a city, I'm never in the city I live in.
Yeah.
So I'm always gone. My schedule is crazy. Like, even, like, I was talking to a guy recently, and both of our schedules are crazy. It's like we're going weeks without talking. It's like, how are we even cultivating anything, right? Yep. And so I think there's a being able to trust the timing, too.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, God, like I could do that, but it is a gift, and I feel like I have to articulate that more as a woman who's single. Like, y'all, they just are mad that they can't be us. But also like highlighting like my life does not feel empty. I feel like I live a fulfilled life. Yes, there's something I desire, but I don't feel entitled to it.
Yeah.
And so there is this like holding the tension of like believing that God will, but also stewarding what I currently have now.
No, that's smart. I mean, it makes tons of sense. I always say if my wife leave me, I'm coming with her. And if God forbid anything ever happens to her and I'm single, I don't want to get to know nobody else like this again. That's a lot of work. Like, oh my gosh, you got to learn what side of the bed you comfortable on, what your toothpaste, what kind of cereal you like. It's a lot of work. Yes, I've been in this a long time. I would gladly just be traveling. And so
I don't know. I like randomly went to Switzerland in the middle of the week.
All right, don't flex on
I
us.
did. It was great. And my friend's like, Switzerland? I'm like, yeah. Because who do I got to ask? Nobody?
Man.
I can just go and frolic in Switzerland for 5 days.
Because that's what you do in Switzerland.
That's what you do.
You frolic.
You just frolic. So yeah, no, I look at it, it's a gift, not a prison sentence.
Yeah.
And I want to amplify that as much as I can.
That's good. When you communicate, when you teach, when you preach, you don't hold back. Like there's some people who are like kid gloves a little bit. Why? Or is that the I don't know, the athlete in you? Is that just the wiring? Because some people are just, a little more. But you be like, hey, look, it is what it is. This is what it is. Like,
yeah, I think if you're talking to me now, I'm naturally like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like. I mean, it is what it is. But like, I'm fun, and like, even when I preach, like, I'm gonna crack a joke. I'm gonna say the hard thing, but I'm gonna crack a joke in the middle. In the middle of it. I honestly though, I'm just passionate. Like I really, really, really love Jesus, and I want people to experience Jesus the way that I have. So I think it is out of that like passion that I like communicate. I also am one of those people who, when people communicate to me, I want them to tell me the truth.
Okay.
Like, I just want you to be honest with me. Please do not small talk me. Don't talk me in a circle.
Yeah.
Like, say what you're trying to say.
Yep.
And so I think out of desiring to be communicated to that way, I think it's just like, I also feel like people are tired.
Yeah.
They just want the truth.
That's
like,
good.
I think so many people are walking away from their faith because we lied to them. We told them at the altar call that God was going to turn it around and he was going to do his big one. And he did. Just not in the way that they expected. And so then when life goes wrong, now they're like, well, is God really who he says he is? Yeah, he is who he says he is. He's not who they said he was.
Ooh.
And so I think that like, because of that, it is just out of my passion. I've actually gotten a lot better. If you go watch my first sermons, I started preaching at a Free Methodist church. It was predominantly white, and I used to be yelling. Like, sides of my head were shaved. My mom was like, why do you keep yelling at these people? And so like, I've learned, I think over time, like with growth, like, okay, how to also wield my passion and how I can better communicate, because I never want the method of communicating to get in the way of what's being communicated so that people can receive it. So I'm growing. It's an art to it.
I'm excited to see like the journey that the Lord is taking you on. Like earlier we were talking about like the church hurt piece, and you said something profound, and it's funny because you said something similar on the Hardly Initiated podcast. You said, I'm never pointing anyone to church, I'm pointing them to Jesus. And I think some people would struggle with that. Like, wait, what you mean? Like the church ain't necessary? But But how would you break that down?
Yeah. No, I think the church is necessary. It's funny because I've been getting this question a lot lately, and I think it's because I have a parachurch ministry. So like I host pop-up Bible studies, but I contend for the local church. Like I think that I am who I am because of the local church. But what I'm saying is most of the time we'll tell people to like spread the gospel or evangelize, and the first thing you're gonna say is like, you wanna come to church with me? And sometimes I think that's a cop-out because they can't actually articulate why they follow the God they follow. So what I mean is that in conversations with people, if somebody's asking me about my faith, I'm not going to push them to church. I'm going to share what God's done in my life because I think the biggest gospel message we can preach is what the gospel has done in our lives. And so I think that is what I mean. Because I think if I keep pushing a church, you get to that church and that church lets you down. If that's your only connection point to God, you're going to walk away.
Yeah.
And so I think that is what I mean by that. But no, I am pro-church. I think we need the church. I actually am heartbroken over the amount of people who are looking for Jesus and cannot find him because the church doesn't reflect him. And I was like at a brunch, because I go to random things, and I was at a brunch a couple weeks ago.
You frolic.
You know, I frolic with all the people. And I was at a brunch, and the girl was telling me, like, I was going to church, and I felt like I needed to read my Bible because I was relying on pastors to teach me the word. So I read the Bible in a year. And what I'm finding is most people who do that, then they can't find a church. That says a lot. That I'm reading scripture, and scripture is identifying to me what the church is. But when I come out of the pages, I don't see the pages in real life.
Yeah.
And she's like, do you even think we need the church? And she's not the only one. She represents a generation of people who are going, I don't know if we really need this.
Yeah.
I got my favorite pastor on YouTube, you know, which whoever they are this week, I can pick whichever one I want. And I think that I'm not saying that technology is bad, but I am saying they were meant to be local churches that you could go to in your neighborhood because you're going to be around a community of people who are going to grow with you and watch you and be like, hey, Lecrae, you slipping today.
Yep.
I noticed that the way you talk to your wife wasn't really cool.
Yep.
And because you have relationship, and I think we're missing that now.
Yeah.
And so what do we say to a generation who's like, I ain't even never been to church. I go to church online. You know? And so I think like we got to find balance in that. And I think my job, I feel like in this season is to push people. So I'm always like, you need to find a local church. If they're in a city and I know there's a great pastor there, maybe it's not a well-known pastor, but it's a great pastor. They are discipling them and there's great community. I'm like, what city you in? Okay, great. Here's a church. Go check it out. And I feel like that is my job in this season because we need the local church.
Yeah.
And so I'm not pushing people to church, but in order to cultivate your relationship with the Lord, you need to be in a local church.
That's good. No, I 10,000% agree with you. I think that's great. I think even in what you said, it's like maybe they're not the popular pastor, but they're going to shepherd you. They're going to walk with you. There's a community there. And I think we kind of have gotten away from that. We want the big names, the big voices, the big platforms.
Yeah.
And it's like,
no, I don't. I really am proud when I go to a church and I'm like, oh, this is a very normal church.
yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The pastor is not, he don't got an Instagram where he got like 50 followers or 1,000. I'm like, oh, yes, Lord.
Yeah.
Because also he probably doesn't know me. Because that's also been a challenge of like finding a church where the pastor's not impressed with me enough to shepherd me.
Yeah.
And so I go to a great church now, Fearless LA. When I'm there, I love that church. Like I immediately got plugged in and I joined a discipleship group. So even if I'm on a road, like with my pastor every week, I'm on discipleship group and it's been a game changer for me.
Yeah.
And I also like, I was like one who was like complaining, like, nobody's discipling us. Like, what are we doing? And then I was like, but also, Brenda, like, what are you doing about that? Like, who's currently already in your life that you could submit yourself to? And I feel like the Lord really got on me. I think the worst thing to do is to be accountable to yourself with the access of influence that we have these days. And so I started reaching out to people who are already in my life, like, God's like, okay, this person. So like I have 2 mentors currently right now who like been holding me down, Prophetess Barbara Calloway and Dr. Sarita.
Oh yeah.
Or like people that like
Dr. Sarita.
she's not a, you know what I'm saying? Like
She's not gonna hold back at
she's
all.
not at all. And like I have seen the difference. Like it's been the past year. Like my life, I feel healthier. I'm not only pouring, but I'm also being poured into. And there are people I could call and be like, hey, I'm struggling with this, or can I ask you questions about this, or how did you do this? Like I didn't used to preach with notes, but now I have mentors, and they like, so how do you prepare? I'm like, I do prepare, but like notes, you know what I'm saying? So now I use notes. And I like that feels really small, but I feel like it also keeps me in a posture of humility that says I'm not too big for somebody to tell me something.
That's good.
Like I want somebody to tell me I'm getting it wrong. I want you to be like, hey, actually, you've been on, take a month off. Go sit down. You traveling a lot. Like, you know what I'm saying? I value that. And I think it's what will, I pray, like keep my ministry pure.
Yeah.
And so I think all of those I've recognized, like getting planted in a church and having mentors and accountability and also discipling has been like what's level set me in this last year.
What's coming up for Brenda Palmer?
You know, I love that question. And then I'm like, I don't like the question. Man, what's coming up? So I'm currently working on my next book.
Okay.
I didn't think I would ever be a writer. And now I'm like, I think I want to write again.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Podcast season.
Yeah.
We're going to jump into that again. And then I have a ministry called Come Alive Collective. And we host weekly Bible studies, virtual and in person, but we also do pop-ups around the country. And so we just did our first one again in the DMV, which is a really great turnout. So we'll bring those back like within the next year. And then we'll have like a conference about sharing the gospel and what that looks like, what it means to like live it out. I'm coming across a lot of people that are like, I believe, but they don't know what they believe, like the foundations of the faith. And I think we skip steps. We all want the supernatural and I'm for it. But also like, can we also get people on like, what's the Trinity and what is the gospel before we tell them they got to go share it? Because I don't know if they know what they sharing. And so it's I'm really cool, like excited about that. And then like jumping back into like, I'm working on a short film. So like the creative side. And
you just flexing all the singleness right now.
Yeah, because I have all this time.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah. And then I've also like been privileged to like kind of like disciple in the entertainment space. And that's been really life-giving. So I've been like fleshing out ways that we can get the gospel in spaces where people don't want to go. Yeah. Because I want to go. Yeah. So I'm cool with sitting at tables with people who don't think like us.
I love that. I think you're doing a phenomenal job. I love the fact that you know, you are a consistent voice, especially in a space where it's kind of like, you know, you might pop up here, then no one hears from you ever again. It's like, but whether we hearing about Brenda Palmer or we not, like when you pull the curtain back, nope, she doing the same thing she was doing before. Yeah, she's still doing her thing, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for your, just man, like it seems like you're one of the people who don't just want to go wide, but you want to go deep. And it's like, I don't just want to spread myself thin. I want to like leave lasting impact on the world. And I'm grateful for that. So
for sure.
Thank you for being here, man.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, sheesh, gems on gems.
Gems on gems is crazy.
Yeah. Nah. When have you known life to happen bi-weekly? It doesn't. But our paydays do. But they don't have to. Because the money you earn can be in your hands, and it should be in your hands. And now that's reality with Earnin. Hear me out. Earnin is an app that lets you access your pay as you earn it. Up to $300 a day with a max of $1,000 between your paydays. You just download the Earnin app, you add your info, then you start accessing your pay as you work, and you leave an optional tip to help keep the app running for everybody else. Any money you access, plus tips, are automatically repaid from your next paycheck. You know, there's been times when it was kind of like, oh shoot, I gotta get this gift, or I didn't realize I needed to get some extra stuff for family for dinner, or a last minute gift for the holidays. You're scratching your head like, man, I get paid on Wednesday, but today's Tuesday. What am I gonna do, right? Well, what if you can access the money you're getting paid on Wednesday on that Tuesday? Trust me, this is the opportunity for you. New dress or school or shoes or something that's on sale. This is your opportunity. You download the Earnin app, EARNIN, in the Google Play or the App Store. And when you download the Earnin app, type in The Deep End with Lecrae under podcast. And when you sign up, it helps the show out. So please, The Deep End with Lecrae under podcast. Earnin is a financial technology company. It's not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors, and standard cash outs take 1 to 2 business days with no mandatory fees. Expedited transfers are available for a fee. Tips are voluntary and don't affect the service. Available in select states. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details and download Earnin now. Take control of your pay.
Oh, we didn't even talk about denouncing. I thought we were gonna go down that
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even. That's a whole nother.
Do y'all want to?
I'm with it.
Oh, okay, we can ask about it. I mean, it's
You tired of it?
it's just
But
such
then
a.
you got on here.
I did because him.
But because I ain't watched the whole thing, but I watched the beginning part, and I'm like, well, then why did we air this?
Because I'm just like, man, why? This is. I feel like we just beating a dead horse.
We are,
at
and
this,
here's the thing: when I denounced, I did not think it was gonna go viral. It is literally if you type my name in Google, it is Brenda Palmer, and it was a denounce, and then I'm like, I hate it, but also, it's kind of odd to me that it keeps coming up.
Yeah.
Cause then I was last year. Then when Travis did it, and then, but it gets confusing because then when people start trying to explain it, then we start backpedaling, and people are getting confused.
Yeah. I think the issue for me is the reasons why everybody's saying denounce are not my reasons, and that's the part where I struggle with. It's like for me, I'm like, yo, I didn't want to be in a place that was conducive for my sin. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I don't want to be in a place where it's like, no, this is an idol. I'm doing idolatrous things.
But you don't think that it's inherently idolatrous?
No, well, I'm not saying it can't be. I'm not saying it may be. But what I am saying is that in my fraternity, we was never worshiping. People saying you're worshiping Greek gods. I'm like, no, I was never worshiping a Greek god.
Not okay, but why do you feel that way? This is why I want to talk about it, because I really have questions.
Okay,
because
we talking about it now.
Well, we here, but not worshiping in a sense of like you didn't bow down, but
No.
we took an oath. Who did we take an oath to?
Okay, so every oath is different. Every
That's
oath
true.
is different.
That's true, and I always say I don't know what your book said.
Yes.
But I do know
Okay.
that the book,
And that-
ritual book, I also was a chapter president. And I'm grateful that the line I was bringing in did it cross, because I would have had all of that. I would have been like, oh, Lord. But there, in the ritual, first of all, it's a ritual.
Yeah.
But in the rituals, like, we take an oath.
No, for
and
sure.
again, I don't know everybody.
I've heard like.
Yeah, because the sorority I was in, the Greek god attached to it was very present in the process, like the entire process.
I've heard about this.
And so that's why I'm like, so when I started studying, because I was one of those people like, y'all are doing the most. I'm not even acting. Like, even when I denounced, I hadn't thought about it. I listened to one podcast, I read something, and then the next day I was like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah.
And so I think like, it's fair to say that, but I think like, I don't know. I think there are so many things that scream this is underlying with idolatry. Not because I'm worshiping it or because it's a god, but if something is an environment that's conducive for sin, we got to ask what the root of it is.
Right.
The root of it can't be the Lord.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that at all. What I see, okay, so I hear your vantage point. And I would say every ritual is different. Every oath is different. What I saw was more about, it's almost more about the worship of what this can bring me.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And to me, it was, none of that was good. All of it was evil. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it wasn't about like, oh, I came and, because even in that, it's like,
But you think that's a personal choice. You don't think that it's because it's rooted in a spirit that you come into agreement with that causes that.
I think it could be. But here's what I'm saying. Because everyone is different, I can't speak to every single one of them, right? So when I can speak to my fraternity, I know that some of the founders were Christian guys, and their thought process was, we need to use
Greek or Latin because those are the languages of intelligence and scholars. So it's like, yeah, we're gonna use the Greek and the Latin. And I just have to wonder if they, now I'm not saying that Satan is not crafty and can't weave stuff in there.
For sure.
But I'd have to wonder if they were intentionally like, and we shall.
No, I don't think, but intentionality does not override what it is.
Sure.
Right? So I could not intend to do something and still do it.
Right.
So I think that like, I try to say this. Like, I don't think that the 22 founders got together and was like, we about to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think that. I think that there was a lack of awareness of what those things actually represented.
Okay.
And so because there's a lack of awareness, we've now instituted something that goes against our faith.
Okay.
And the same way we blindly did all these random things, but when you start to really think about the random things, they don't feel very random.
No, I don't disagree.
They feel very much like, okay, we just, what did we do? And for me, I couldn't remember anything.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember what I said. I couldn't remember what I did. And it was like the moment I thought, like, sat with it. And I think the first question, which I'll tell anybody who's navigating this, is like, ask the Lord how he feels about it.
Right.
Like, God, how do you feel about this?
Well, the crazy part was, it was a dude who was like the Christian guy who was kind of not mentoring me, but he was kind of like, he was more spiritually ahead than I was, who was like, yeah, we gonna get online.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So in my mind,
For sure.
I only wanted to be a part of it for all the wrong reasons.
Got
so
it.
I can say that about myself.
Yeah.
I don't, and I can say this. Here's the part where it gets sticky and tricky for me personally, is because I felt like I was in sin
Before that.
online.
No, for sure.
Before I said an oath,
Yeah.
I was having nightmares. Like,
sure.
this ain't right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so,
and that could have been the Lord trying to get you out of it.
I mean, yes, but I'm just saying that mug was, first of all, what I endured was not of the Lord.
None of it was of the Lord. And I pledged in the South, so none of it was of the Lord.
Tennessee.
None of it, Mississippi.
You
so
feel me?
none of it was of the Lord.
That was not, of the Lord. So for me, I'm like, okay.
Yes, and I think that and I agree with what you're saying. And the step further it goes, why?
Yeah, okay. I see
Why do so many of us die?
Yeah.
Because altars need blood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, and for me, I'm like, I can go to the deep things, but it's not where I live.
Yeah.
But when I see deep things, I'm like, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. And we just gotta call it that. And I think it's dangerous when people we got influence and we like, well, guys, because there is an 18-year-old, there's a 20-year-old on that campus that's like, nah, man, like I rock with Lecrae. He said it ain't that bad. And then 10 years later, they right where you was, you know what I'm saying? So I think that like, we could either like, all right, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm one of those people like, I'm tired of talking about this.
Yeah.
But then I feel a sense of responsibility that not tells you what to do, but tells you to go search it out. Because nothing on the surface is going to look like that. It's like, even when we think about Satan taking Jesus on that mountaintop to tempt him, he's offering him things that he could give him. But that's the surface level. Satan's really after his authority. So it's always deeper than what we can see.
Yeah.
And I get it, like, because we can also, like, you know, in 2025, everything is demonic. And it's like, I get it. We stressed out with that. But we also don't want that to make us think like the things that actually are
not.
So I think it needs balance. And I think at the very least, we could just go, what is this actually? And if you just go a little bit beneath the surface, you're going to see this is crazy.
I don't disagree. I think the tension I be walking is so here go my little. This is my soapbox. I'm gonna get off my soapbox. I'd be okay. Nah, that's the wrong way to say that. I'd be okay with it. That's crazy. I want us to scrutinize other things outside of the Black community as much as we do.
I'm glad you brought this up.
Okay.
I agree. Because I saw something on Threads the other day, which I was like, y'all, this is a reach. That the evangelicals are now telling the Black leaders to leave the Black Greek letter organizations. And I think that is a stretch because they don't even know what they are. Like, I wrote about it in my book and I had to explain. Like, I had to keep writing it over and over again. So I think it's not that. I agree, but I think I would just like to offer a different perspective. Is like I am naturally going to critique what I am a part of.
Okay.
So because the next question is like, well, y'all don't talk about the white organizations. I've never been in one of those. I don't even know what they are. Like, I went to a black school. We didn't even have them. You know what I'm saying? So naturally, I'm going to always talk about the black movies being bad because I'm watching the black movies. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm not watching that, if I'm not engaged with it, I can't critique something I'm not aware of. Yeah. So I think that kind of pushes back on that a little bit because it can feel like, which I'll take us out of this space, is like, we went from trashing the BET Awards to trashing Essence Fest to trashing Woman Evolved. It just like was a list of things. And they're like, all out the black things. Well, these are all things made for black people. And black people are the ones attending it. And as a black person, I'm going to critique what I attend. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have perspective to critique. I don't even know what they have that would be, you know what I'm saying? Like, equivalent to that. It was I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But
America.
You know what I'm saying? Which we do critique that as well. So I think like it isn't that we're just picking like, oh, we're gonna knock down, because I don't want to negate what those organizations have done for our, like community as well, right? But then I also have to go just on the mere surface of it. Does this now community override as a believer, like who God is in this?
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with we talk about what we know about. I'd love to have a broader conversation with multiple perspectives, because sometimes it just, and I actually appreciate the way you're approaching it. Because I think sometimes it's like we fearmonger on one end of the spectrum, on the other end of the spectrum.
We got authority.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, where are we landing the plane? And then I'm also like, well, who has the rule book on how deliverance takes place?
For sure.
Because now I'm like, so you telling me MLK, Thurgood Marshall, Felicia Rashad, like you telling me all these people are in bondage still? Like, how we don't know what that, like, if they don't do it exactly the way you said do it, if they don't say, I renounce, or if they like, what is somebody's like, you got to write a letter. If you don't write a letter, it ain't done.
Well, for me, I wanted to write a letter. I said, I want my name off the road, like immediately, right? That was, I think, repentance, right?
Yes.
To turn away from. Yes. And I think that if you do that in the confines of your own home, I would prefer you renounce, because it separates you, right? Yeah. And so I think that is a thing. But I think like also, I think awareness is key, right? My convictions grew because I had an awareness. So if I don't have an awareness, and I probably could get in trouble for saying this, but I don't know what God is holding me accountable for. Does that make sense? Like, if I didn't know it was wrong and I died in it, I don't know. Yeah. Like, I can't decide anybody's fate. But as much as I know and am convicted, I need to move towards that conviction.
You don't want to sin against your conscience.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm like, if the Lord is saying up out of this, and even if he didn't give me a reason, I just live the kind of life that if the Lord said go, I'm going to go. Yeah. But because he did give me a reason and then also told me to share it, it's like, I think that makes a difference. So it's like, I can't decide for those people, but I think as much as I have an ability to share truth, and in my truth saying, man, go look it out, search it out for yourself, and the Lord will convict you if you're open to it. Yeah. I think most of us, which I was the same way, I wasn't even open to it because everybody was yelling at me and they were talking to me like I was going to die tomorrow. It's like, relax, scale back. But like also, I have a relationship with the Lord who would also lead me in the truth if I'm open to receive it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think that's healthy. That's a healthy response. And I feel in the same way. Whereas for me, I'm like, I'm going to dig through the cultural nuances and what is the Greek saying here. I really want to understand before I'm like, nah, all of these cats was bugging. But I can say with full-on confidence, I have not experienced anybody who said, yo, man, I just want to be a blessing to my community. I just want to serve. And I just want to, like, bond with brothers and sisters. And
Yeah.
that is the only reason.
Of course not, because you could do that without that. Exactly. So everybody had some level of motive, whether it was to get ahead or you wanted to be accepted or, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever it is, there is a motive, which that also has to be called into question.
Facts.
So then it's like, okay, you know what I'm saying? And I think when we hear, so I kind of try to not to use the word idolatry when talking about it, because when you hear that, you automatically think, oh, I'm bowing down. It's like, no.
But some people do worship it.
Some people do.
Yeah.
Because you got a shrine in your house.
Yeah, some people worship it.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it is that. But I also think like at its core, it is, and I believe it is inherently idolatry.
Yeah, that's some digging I want to look into. Because
And
I've seen yours.
I will send you some
Now,
stuff.
I've seen yours, and I was like, yeah.
I was like, bro, it's very blatant.
Somebody put y'all stuff online.
That's
I said,
what, yeah. And they're like, oh, the rituals are on. No.
bad. That's pretty bad.
No, it's bad. But I'm saying like, we weren't the first.
That's true.
So that means it all comes from an origin. And I think when we start to really dig into things, it's like the question we can ask just on the surface level is like, does this edify God?
Yeah.
So for the people who are like arguing like, well, we do community service, it's like, yeah, but in the name of the organization.
Yeah.
And if it's founded on Christian principles, then how come any religion can be a part of it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think we can just hit surface things and knock off boxes. But I think like when you start to really study it out and you read what an altar is, and then you think about your process and you go, oh wait, then we all had a purification process. You couldn't have sex, you couldn't eat sugar, you couldn't have, you know what I'm saying? Why we had to do all of that for community service? Because we are participating in rituals that are not for the Lord.
I'm trying to remember yeah. That's the term I was looking for. When I was in, I went to the Bible Museum, and I was looking at all of these like little shrines and little things in the Bible Museum, and I was like, they was explaining like, yeah, this is a mixture of this Greek god, but then Christianity, and I was like, word? Or this is a mixture of this random god and ancient Judaism mixed together. And I was like, wait, what's happening? And it's like, oh, a lot of syncretism was going on. They didn't realize they were merging things. And I was like, okay, I could see that. In the same way we do that as Americans, and we'll say like, well, I only want Jesus if I get a car.
Exactly.
It's like, well, no, that's not.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. It is like, and that's what I think now. It's like, it's hard for us to fathom, because when we read scripture and we like see the Israelites, it seemed so blatant.
Yeah.
But to them, they're doing the same thing we're doing.
Yeah,
They're like, okay, we moved to this city. Here's how the city moves. Oh, I like what they do. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to also serve God. Like, they weren't thinking that they were choosing another God. And it's like, we're doing the same thing because it's infused in our culture.
Yes.
And so I think like, it's hard to like, no, I don't serve idols. It's like,
Yeah, but you do.
but you do.
But you do.
But you do. When you go to church and you only going to church because you struggling this week and you like, man, I need a word. You serving the word that you gonna get from God, or are you serving God?
Yeah.
And so I think we all have been guilty of it. And I think that when God highlights it, the best thing to do is to correct quickly, because it's just like, also what I learned after renouncing is the limits I had with my intimacy that I didn't recognize until I came out of it. And it was like, oh, there are ways I was not seeing God because of this, because God honors covenant, whether it's with him or not. Yeah. And so I think like, I think I would just say, just search it out. You feel it in your heart. That's why
I hear you. I'm with you, honestly. I feel more, I understand. And
yeah, because y'all gotta be careful. Because y'all be saying stuff and then the people be like,
nah, these things are dangerous.
They are dangerous.
And here's what I say. This is the last thing I say about it. My son, if any of my kids was like, I want to do this, I'd be like, no. I would dissuade them from it. But I'm probably, where I'm at is, I'm hard-headed in that. So this is what I would just make my statement on this. If you have come to the conclusion that it is idolatrous in its origin, you're in sin if you don't renounce. You're in sin. If you, like me, are like,
Can I see the hole in your hand, Jesus?
That's crazy.
Now I don't want to be a part of it, but
just make it clear.
Yeah.
And I believe he will do that.
Yeah.
Because most people will, judge Thomas. I don't judge Thomas. I see Thomas deserved his own encounter with the Lord.
Yeah.
He deserved to poke his fingers. That's why they were there. So I'm one for believing that God will reveal himself to you.
Yeah.
On his own. And our ability to speak truth opens the door. It's
That's
just
good.
an invitation. And so I think that, but you saying I wouldn't let my kids do it, you shepherd people every
That's
week.
true.
And the same that you would want for your kids, you got to want for the people.
Oh no. Here's what I'll be honest. I don't recommend anybody doing it. However, if you did, I think if I'm being honest, I was such a staunch legalist. I made a whole line drop. I went to a campus, told all them jokers drop. The frat dudes was mad at me. This is years ago. They was like, yo man, you made the whole line drop. The chapter messed up, blah, 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 blah.
Good.
And I was like, in my mind now, I'm like, I was very legalistic about a lot of things during that time period of my life. I haven't really kind of made amends with all of them, but some of them was legit. You know what I'm saying? So on this one, I'm like, hey, listen, don't beat me up just yet if you were part of one of these organizations. I'm not telling you your origins are idolatrous. However, I'm investigating, and many people, and Brenda's saying it is. But I will say, I have very little confidence that it is something that you need to do. I don't have any confidence something that you need to do.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want to do? You want to do community service, church? You want brotherhood and sisterhood, church, community?
Come on.
You want
now don't get me down that road because it's like it's given, okay? You're trying to create other alternatives where you should be.
I'm just saying.
Which got Satan all over.
I'm like, yo, you want to learn how to run a board meeting? Get a mentor.
Come on.
Like, there's a lot of other
Internet
avenues.
company.
Yeah, there's a lot of avenues. You don't need it.
Yeah,
So
it's true. Okay, last thing. Because you brought up like a good point about, or it's something I've been like processing with like legalism, right?
Yeah.
And how we need to find balance between legalism and just a decision.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think like we're seeing a lot of compromise. A lot of like, even in this conversation, I've seen people who are like, it's idolatrous, and then it's like, then they get dragged on the internet, they're like, well, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not judging. I am.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be like, oh, I don't commit adultery, but if you do, I'm not judging you. I wouldn't do that, right?
Right.
And so I think like we gotta be careful. Like when these things are dangerous, and if you don't want to steward the influence, you need to give it back. You need to deactivate and walk away because and I recognize that people who only have this and don't walk with people don't carry responsibility.
That's good.
Because you can just say what you want to say, then I got to deal with the 10 people who are now confused about their faith because something you said. And so that has even made me not say a lot of stuff. There be a lot of stuff I'll be on the thread, and I'm like, nah, because I got to hold the weight of the people I now am responsible for stewarding. And so I recognize that a lot of people are being given microphones without maturity and also without the weight of responsibility. And we're making local pastors' jobs harder.
Yeah.
Because we're saying mad things on this mic that they got to flush out throughout the week.
Boy.
So it's like, also, let's all ask the Lord what we should say before we say it.
Yes.
But also like hold the weight of, I say this all the time, like my decisions, someone's eternity is in the balance of them. So it's like we got to always hold the weight of that. But I'm glad we had the conversation.
I love that. That's the woman wise. That's good. Nah, that's good.
You know, freedom is our birthright, our spiritual birthright. Whom the Son sets free is free indeed. And man, there's a God who set us free. And I want to talk to y'all about him through this book of poems and essays called Set Me Free. This book comes out December 2nd, everywhere and anywhere that books are sold. I'm hoping that it allows people to find some freedom to wrestle through some pain, some struggle, whether it's cultural, spiritual, physical, mental. I pray that people will find freedom here. I wrote it because I went through a series of struggles, and over the years, I wrote poems and essays just to capture some of those things. Great contributions from Sharifa Stevens and Adam Thomason as well. And this is just a great book if you're needing some freedom in your life.
This is The Deep End with Lecrae.